right, that ends public participation for tonight. We will enter into the action agenda. Number 16 are items considered in executive session. Could I have a motion, please? Ms. Baumgartner?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the selected employment items as shown in Exhibit A.
Is there a second? Ms. Lovelace seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please raise your hands. All opposed, that passes 6-0. Mr. Gant.
Madam Chair, I'd like to enter something for the record on item C that we considered in executive session, and I think it's of interest to the community. And I have two items. I have a Court of Common Pleas case and a finding and a statement that I'm going to give to Ms. Stowers to include for the record. The statement reads, District 5 School Board decision on Murphy removal upheld. On October 30th, the Honorable Deandra Gist Benjamin, Circuit Court presiding judge, affirmed the removal of Kim Murphy from the Lexington-Richland School Board. In her ruling, she stated, the court has carefully considered the pleadings and materials submitted, the oral arguments presented at the hearing held on September the 11th, 2014, and the relevant authorities governing this action. For the reasons set forth below, the court affirms the board's decision to remove Appellate Murphy from office. The ruling further stated, based on the foregoing findings of facts, analysis, and conclusions of law, the court finds by clear and convincing evidence that Appellate Murphy is a resident of Lexington County and does not meet the requirements and lacks the legal capacity to hold the office of board trustee. The court therefore affirms the board's decision to remove Appellate Murphy from office. This ruling confirms that the board acted rightly in removing Ms. Murphy. It is a matter of fact and not an opinion that she resides in Lexington County. Unfortunately, as Ms. Murphy has done many times, she chose to seek legal action against the district. Defending this unfounded lawsuit added to the more than $12 million in taxpayer money, $12 million in taxpayer dollars already spent as a result of Murphy's legal actions against the district. My sincere hope as a board member and a community member is that we can put this matter behind us. So I want to enter this for the record. I have a copy of the complete court ruling that I want to have as for the record also, and I'll give it to you, Ms. Stowers, when we finish tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gant. Item number 17. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Baumgartner.
Madam Chair, I move that we give final reading approval of proposed revisions to Board Policy JFBA, intra-district transfer and withdrawal, as shown in Exhibit D.
Is there a second? Mr. Haltwanger. Seconds, any discussion? I think we've talked about this multiple times before. This is our final reading. Seeing no discussion, please raise your hands in favor of the motion. All opposed, that passes 6-0. Last on our action agenda is the certification of delegates for the 2014 Delegate Assembly. As I think all of you know, perhaps Mr. Haltwanger, this is new to you, but the first weekend of December, the South Carolina School Boards Association holds an annual meeting, and this is where the ideas, the legislative priorities that board members from across the state vote on what the priorities to take to the General Assembly in the spring. As such, we have six delegates, 6 voting delegates, and at this point, we do know that Mr. White, thank you, out of sight, that Mr. White actually has a company conflict that weekend, so he will be unable to join us. So that does leave 6 board members, and if there's any, is there a motion for how you want to assign the delegates? Ms. Baumgardner?
I move that we assign, we have 6 delegates so that each board member that attends will have 1 voting delegation.
Okay. And Mr. Haltwanger, I failed to ask if you would be able to join us.
Could I get the date again?
It's the first weekend in December, it's the 6th. And if you don't have to make a decision now.
I think I'm at a wedding.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not getting married.
Mrs. Haltwanger, do we want to talk later?
To make that clear. I think that's like the 5th or 6th, is that right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Okay. All right, well, yes, Mr. Gant.
I was going to make a suggestion because I know a lot of this is relatively new to Mr. Haltwanger, but we may want to have Mr. Haltwanger certified as an alternate in case his plans change. And Ms. Hammond, I'm assuming you are going to be able to attend.
And I plan to go unless there's some problem that unforeseen about Mom, but
Okay.
looks like it'll be good.
Okay. And in addition to that, I was going to ask you if you, I think Ms. Baumgartner's idea was good, but we'd have 6. We're just not sure, well, I would like to defer my delegate vote to maybe yourself, depending on how this other works out, or Ms. Lovelace as a board officer, because I'm going to be pretty involved in that process that day. But I know I have trust in my fellow board members that you all will act in my best behalf and the behalf of this district and the state.
I'm glad you reminded me of that. I do think it's certainly worth noting that Mr. Gant will be taken over as the head of the State School Boards Association. We're very proud, and this will be a year's service. You've been working up toward this. You've been working very hard and been president-elect for the past year and previous positions prior to that. So we are very proud of the fact that you will be representing the whole state, but with the title of school board from Lexington Richland 5. And we know that you will do a great job representing our district and the state. So congratulations. Please.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I didn't tell you that so that you would say what you did, but I appreciate that. If you remember last year, I was in an opposite position from you all. I should have done it last year. So honestly, I do think that'd be the best use. But thank you very much.
Okay, all right. So I believe that would leave 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you are suggesting that,
That if you took 2 of the votes and Ms. Lovelace had 2, you'd have all 6 covered.
okay, does that sound good? All right. Do you have that, Ms. Towers? So, yes. Yes.
And I would suggest making the other members alternates myself.
And make, please make Mr. Gant, Mr. Haltwanger, and Mr. White
White, an alternate.
alternate, just in case.
Things could change.
Yeah. And we would certainly love to have all of you down at this. This is a very important meeting to talk about the priorities for the following year. Anything else, Mr. Gant, that we need to address with regards to School Boards Association?
I don't believe so. I think we need to vote on it.
Okay, so we have a motion, I guess we did. We don't have a second? Okay, could I have a second?
I'll say.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hammond. Any further discussion?
Now, just a clarification, the original motion has been modified by our adjustment here. We're fine with that? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a friendly motion.
Friendly motion.
Yeah, it was a friendly motion, a
Right.
friendly amendment. Okay, so the motion is to allow Ms. Lovelace and myself to have two votes, and Ms. Hammond and Ms. Baumgartner to have 1, and the other board members to be listed as alternates. All in favor, please raise your hands. All opposed, that passes unanimously. And that ends our action agenda for the night.